First there were minerals, water, and air. Then life in its various forms materialized. I don't know how this happened, probably spontaneously. I always marvel and am drawn to this mysterious phenomena, life on our planet. I'm glad that I was born and raised in New York City, blessed with parks and vegetation. I've always been attracted to this living force, constantly changing, transforming itself in relation to the seasons and natural growth processes. As soon as I could, I sought contact with nature. As an artist, initially attracted to the city, its buildings and other structures, and most of all the people living in the midst of all this, I also wanted contact with nature as an additional source of energy and inspiration. I created my first landscape paintings in the 1950s, and then more in the 80s and succeeding years. In the earliest work, I used a limited palette, limiting myself to earth colors, the ochres, browns, greens found in nature. The paintings tended to be very mellow in their sensibility and mood. I started by making pen and ink and pencil studies, which I then used as a basis for paintings. Initially, I was very descriptive in my treatment of landscape, though I often exhibited a more expressive approach. I quickly discovered that viewers were more drawn to my landscape paintings than to my figure-based subjects, and this has continued into the present. Each summer I would seek opportunities for closer contact with nature. Cape Cod and the Hudson Valley were the places I spent many of my summers, particularly the Catskills. But I also found that I could enjoy and use local areas in Delaware for similar ends. In the 1980s, I started to transform what I observed in nature, allowing myself to get in touch with what nature evoked in me, the latent energy and creativity of nature. And I did as nature does, entertain transformations, so that natural elements, forms, colors, all interacted with my creative process. What started out fairly realistic moved in the direction of abstraction. The energy of the sources altered in the painting process, just as I recognized in many great landscape painters, such as Cézanne and Van Gogh. The first constructed, created a new order, synthesizing an image, and the latter allowing his feelings and energy to drive his interactions with nature. Van Gogh felt being in nature was one of the few places he felt whole and restored. My resulting images, I call them uncommon landscapes. I consider them landscapes, although altered by imagination and energy interacting with my experiences. Most of my paintings are painted in my studio, based on sketches and sometimes on photos of places that have called out for my attention. Nature too is uncommon in its great variety of colors, shapes, forms, and textures. When you view this video, it is important to remember to use the pause button, the two vertical bars, to stop the rapid flow of the images, each no more than 12 seconds in length. In this way you will have enough time to absorb the entire image and hopefully connect with the energy in it. As I review the paintings, I find certain patterns repeated and a great emphasis on rhythms within each image, rhythms that visually interact with each other, creating tensions that I hope will resolve themselves or serve the purpose of recreating some of my experience and the process of creating an image, a painting. When I finished a painting and saw it in my studio, I discovered that some could be shown in different positions from what I had first conceived and intended. I rotate my paintings on the easel as I work on them. Some of the paintings I now prefer to show in a new orientation. I've included some examples of these rotations, additional transformations. There are many painters of landscape that have influenced me, including the old masters, and more recent artists such as the Americans, Oscar Blumner, Charles Birchfield, Arthur Dove, Milton Avery, Gregory Amanoff, and others. Please enjoy the magic that nature and hopefully my paintings can provide as a source of inspiration and renewal for you.